G'day, ladies and gents, and welcome to the overpowered King Tiger. Yes, you heard me. I called it overpowered. Why is it overpowered? Because I'm fully down tiered. Honestly, though, with all sort of jokes and snarky comments aside, the King Tiger is okay at 7.7, but that's what you would expect of a heavy tank in a full up tier. Now, you take the IS-6 in a full up tier, 8.3 faces leopards. It's pretty much got nothing against a leopard on a map like Fulda Gap, or on a map like Morsdock, where it's got a lot of hull down positions and a lot of flanking opportunities. But back to the topic. This is the King Tiger, the premium King Tiger to be exact, because it's got the better engine and it's got some tracks on the side, which at this tier really don't make much of a difference. It's an extra 20 millimeters of armor that will barely stop the 76 from the Hellcat, from the 76 Jumbo, from the Shermans. Definitely won't stop the Russian guns at all. They have upwards of 143 millimeters of pen, but it may help. I don't consider it a massive advantage over the regulatory King Tiger, as in general, with the exception of the mobility. The mobility can be quite useful, and as you can see here, I'm reaching a speed of 25 kilometers per hour uphill. The King Tiger itself, the premium one and the regulatory one, both have the 88, which everyone says fantastic, except for a few spastics, I would say. The long 88, especially at this tier, is all you need. You don't need any APCR. I would never recommend taking APCR for the long 88, even in a full up tier, unless you're playing arcade and you might come across a mouse or a Yag Tiger. But realistically, the APHE is all you need. I do know that some people take heat just to fire at softer targets, like M18s, just to ensure that hull break. But personally, I don't think it's worth it. The time that it takes to click that reload, just not worth it. You're better off going for the ammo rack, just like I did on this AMX-13. The beauty about the King Tiger is I can just push. I can just push forward. The AMX-13 has about 180 millimeters of pen on its 75 millimeter gun. I can just push ahead because I've got 180 millimeters of armor. So I found that a little bit unfair. I mean, he is almost fully up-tiered and he probably could have flanked a bit better. But regardless, that's what a heavy tank can do. Just sort of push and take the shot and just not face the consequences. If I was in, for example, a Tiger 1, I may have had to do a little bit more work to get that kill. But anyway, I found that pretty simple, and I honestly found it a little bit dirty. I'm not personally a heavy tank kind of guy. I like medium and light tanks, and as a result, anything that can withstand a shot and deal one back sort of irks me a little bit. But that's just down to personal preference rather than anything else. As you can see, most of the tanks that I'm fighting in my match are either artificially up-tiered for some god unknown reason, or they're just 5.7 or 6.3 tanks. I'm fighting a Panther T5 there. For those of you who don't know, if the Panther T5 is a little bit out of its hull down position, just shoot the lower glacis. Long 88 can pen the lower glacis without a problem. And yeah, that was an LVT. Don't ask me why there's an LVT in my battle. The next tank you'll see on the left-hand side there is an Archer, and I don't know why people are taking the Archer either. Don't artificially up-tier your shit, because it's just not going to work. And especially if you're artificially up-tiering, don't complain about it. Please, for the love of God, if you can't get a kill in your Archer or your M22 Locust at top tier, don't cry about it. I beg you. Same as your M18s. So many M18s in this match. I understand that the M18 is a very versatile tank, can flank a lot, it's got a decent gun. The side shots can kill pretty much anything in the game, but please, for the love of God, don't take it straight up against a King Tiger. That's just not how you're going to win. The King Tiger in a full down tier can just brute its way to victory. You've just got that much armor and you've got that nicer gun that you can pretty much block anyone's shot and then just push over the ridge or around the corner while they're reloading and just take them out like it was nothing. And that's the beauty of a King Tiger in a down tier. You are pretty much the old clubbing machine that you were in 2016, when 90% of the time you just got down tiers. And when you did get that 1 or 2 up tiers, you weren't facing stuff that had amazing shells. You were facing stuff like the T-32, the M46 with its old heat shell, which had like 230 mil of pen or something like that. Something, I don't know. In my opinion, that's pathetic. It's a pretty crappy heat shell. It was just enough to pen the King Tiger in its weak spot. But end of the day, that tank, whilst it was fun, I'm not going to say it did struggle, but it was it was and still is very easy pickings for King Tiger. It's not that hard to kill one. The Jackson that I'm about to absolutely destroy in one shot, that used to be 6.3, so that faced King Tigers almost every single match. The only real major concern that you have used to have in a King Tiger was close air support and maybe enemy heavy tanks. As you can see here, I survived 2 1,000 pound bombs, and I'm repairing quite quickly. I've got an expert crew and I've got a high leveled crew. I think I put like 1,000 golden eagles into it. But regardless, you could still put a few GE into your crew slots, or alternatively none, and just play a couple of premium tanks, and you get a lot more crew XP points. Another thing to note is that you repair a lot quicker in cap circles. I believe it's twice as fast. So if you find that German tank repair times are a little bit long, especially for heavies, which tends to be the case, I think that might just be something from pre-open beta War Thunder that probably needs to be changed. But a heavy tank, regardless, is best designed for either pushing or holding a position. And if you need to hold a cap circle and you need to repair, sitting in that cap circle is not a bad idea at all, especially because you can get ammunition back from it. And that brings me to my next point. Don't take full ammo in your King Tiger, I beg you. The amount of people that I see taking full ammo in their King Tiger is absolutely ridiculous. All you need to do is get rid of, I think, 30 shells or 20 shells, and the ammo out the back of the turret is gone. You are no longer a one-shot from the front. That is how simple a King Tiger can be to make it a little bit more durable. Don't take full ammo. I take 25 shells, and I did not expect to get more than 6 kills in this match. I ended up with 16. 16 kills. Fully down-tiered. That was a T-28. Very simple. You flank it. There's no point engaging it frontally. You just flank it. Even if you're in a mouse, just try and flank it, or try and absorb the damage to get around it. It's not that overly difficult. Either that or find something else to shoot at. I think the King Tiger has absolutely great potential, but often gets put in the wrong hands. Not saying that the people who spent time grinding for the King Tiger don't deserve it. Rather, they're too inexperienced to be at such a high battle rating. The German tank tree, I believe, needs more mid-tier tanks. There's no doubt about that to me. In my mind, I see people jump from 3.7 or 3.3 even with the Panzer 3M straight into 5.7. Never played a 5.7 game in their life before that. And I think that in itself is a crime. That's just horrible for an aspiring King Tiger driver. Doesn't know anything about armor, doesn't know anything about the guns, the tanks at the tier, the play style, the game meta at tier 3, and they just get thrown into 5.7. There needs to be a way to transition from 3.3 to 5.7, and then from 6.3 to 6.7, or 5.7 to 6.3. I don't think it's fair, because you look at me. I'm a veteran player. I've got like 30,000 matches in this game. I know what I'm doing, and I don't say that to brag. I literally know what I'm doing. This scene here will show you what I mean. I've tracked this Hellcat, and I go for the next shot, hoping to hull break it, but I, for some reason, don't get the shot, and now I'm being flanked. I turn my attention off to the Type 65. I know my transmission's broken, so I can't do anything about it. I'm sitting in the cap, repairing in the cap, getting that extra time, and now I've shot the Type 65. I'm machine gunning the Type 65 to disable the breach. I lapse in concentration and realize the Hellcat is shooting at me. Get my gunner back after finishing off the Type 65, and there we go. Now I'm immune to the M18. Very, very simple. I'm immune to the M18's shots now. What's he going to do? Shoot APCR at me? I've got the turret pretty much covered. I'm repaired, and there we go. One shot, hull break. I mean, I should have hull broken him earlier, but it doesn't matter. I'm using my armor to its most effective strengths. I know what to do with my armor. People at 5.7 don't know what to do with their armor because they've never had armor before. They've been on the Panzer 3s, and they don't know what to do. They don't know the meta. I think there should be a transition tank, and people wouldn't be so upset about the King Tigers. Another thing I find about the King Tigers is they used to get a lot of down tiers, and now they don't. And I think that just happens when the meta changes. That's just too bad, so sad. I can't remember any tanks off the top of my head that used to be fun and now aren't because they just get up tiers. Oh, actually, the Cromwell. Cromwell 1 used to be my favourite. I wanted to get 500 kills, and too bad, so sad, meta changes. This particular game in the King Tiger was perhaps maybe 1 in a million. It was a very rare match. And don't get me wrong, I did face enemies that didn't know what they were doing, were artificially up-tiering their tanks, and everything just fell into my hands. But regardless, there are still ways that you can make your King Tiger work. Maybe not get 16 kill matches every game, but you can still use your King Tiger to its full effectiveness. And at the moment, a lot of people, or some people, are calling for it to go to 6.3. And you can see the damage it would do at 6.3. So screw that. Why would it go to 6.3 when it does more damage on the bottom than it saves up top? The King Tiger is still great. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.